we're recording. Kathryn Born is meeting with us this evening, and Kathryn wears a lot of hats. She helped me. I don't know if she helped me. Maybe she just did it. She redesigned my website and made it more functional, you know, and she's also helped me with a lot of other kinds of things like publicity, and she's a marketing, you know, an internet marketing kind of expert, and social media, etc. So, Kathryn, where did you go to high school?
Niles West in Skokie. Niles West in Skokie.
Niles West. And how did you get from there to here in 30 seconds or so?
What? Are you saying I go to high school?
No, I want to know. But I think, you know, I think if we know where people went to high school, if you know, I want to know how you got from high school to your lofty position today.
Oh God, I was just
in 30 seconds.
I was just willing to piss people off. I like fighting. I think that's a very helpful asset as a art critic person in Chicago. But seriously, I gave a whole lecture. Hold on, I can just hang up. About
let's go on to our talk for tonight then.
Well, I was just going to say I gave a whole talk about asking forgiveness rather than asking permission. So
yep,
there you go.
Tony Fitzpatrick's adages too.
Yes, ask for forgiveness and not permission, because you'll never do anything. So yeah, I do Chicago Art Magazine, and certainly no one recommended that I start an art magazine. And to this day, I think a lot of people think I shouldn't run an art magazine, but I do anyway. And it's the biggest visual art magazine in Chicago in terms of readership, and it sort of became a marketing masterpiece. Facebook was coming up as a social media tool for businesses, and I was jumping on that and working on it very aggressively. Twitter, the websites, and then so to transition into this, one thing I always say is that 20 years ago I wouldn't have been able to do what I do now because I was a woman. And then 5 years ago I wouldn't have been able to do what I do because I would have needed to pay a tech guy. And so it's been interesting how we're just crossing a line and people can have pretty elaborate websites that don't require any programming, any money. And to give an example, I'm working with a client in San Francisco, and he was about to write a check for $5,000 for a developer to build him a website. And I was like, stop. And I took the website that he really liked, that he was using as a model. I showed him a clone of that for $65. It's a template for $65, and he never wrote the check to the web developer. So people don't know what's possible. And I've got a friend that I'm training and teaching her how to just whip up these websites. Like Chicago Artist Coalition is dropping the kind of websites that come with their membership thing. And so she and I are going to scoop in there and just make websites for all these artists and make them very cheaply because it's so easy now. And so I'm going to show you guys some of the stuff I've done. I know people always have technical questions about how this all works, so I've got that. But I'll also point you to, Paul was in attendance, my 2-hour WordPress Masterclass. I recorded that whole thing. So what you sat through for 2 hours, Paul, they can all experience as well. No charge. And so there's that. And then what I also did is I started looking at the people in this session of Klein-Artist-Works, their websites. And so if we want, we can look at people's websites, and I can sort of do some commentary.
Fabulous.
See, I'm all wound up. I'm good. I'm wound up. I'm on. All right. So what do we do first? Do you guys have questions? What do you guys want to talk about? All
right, hold on. If somebody want to ask a question of Kathryn right up front, raise your hand. Hold on. Percy's here. Okay, Percy.
I don't have a question yet. I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't.
Oh, take your hand down, girl. All right, I muted you.
I see everybody. Oh, there you are. Oops. Oh, there we go.
If you click on that icon in the upper,
I see everybody now.
Okay, good.
All right. All right. Come on. Okay, there's almost everybody has a website, and there's like 2 people who don't. Are either of the people who are just plain black text on Paul's site on the webinar?
Hey, Mark, I've unmuted you. Go ahead and talk.
Yeah?
Mark, why don't you have a website?
I do.
Oh.
Okay. Okay.
I'm ashamed of it though. It's terrible. I've been waiting for you since I started this webinar whole course just to tidy up the mess.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, you know, the first thing I see is people try to do too much. And what we can do is I can show you some things, and it won't be the website you always dreamed about. It will be a website. It'll be a website so if somebody looks you up and adds the words artist to your name, that they'll find you and they can get a hold of you. Because the biggest thing that you must have a website for is just to be a very, very straightforward calling card. And so, as we like to say, so many people get so wrapped up in having the perfect website that they have no website. So do you want to start with the very simplest type of website you can build?
Sure.
I say let's start with that. And the simplest one, now Paul, how do I have it where it shows my, share my desktop?
No, I got to turn over control view first. Hold on, babe.
Okay.
I'll
say it now while Paul's doing it. The two tools that I'll show you is Weebly and WordPress. And I'll show you how Chicago Art Magazine and these, WordPress is the system that the guy who was about to spend $5,000 didn't do, and it's because of WordPress. And then I'll point you to the whole tutorial that does the 2-hour breakdown of what you would do.
click on share my desktop, and you already have control now.
Okay, share my desktop is grayed out.
What do you mean?
It's grayed out. Invite and remind.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on.
There we go. I'm now the presenter. All right, ready? I am now the presenter. Okay, everybody. Weebly. So I am just going to turn off their thing, and I'm going to add my own commentary. And, hey, I said mute. Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So let's listen to their video. This is Weebly.com. And look at this drag and drop website builder. This is free. Now, one thing I'm telling people is that if you get the free version and you don't have your own domain name, like bobjones.com, if you change it later, you've written up business cards, then you have to change those business cards. But so literally, this is what they call a drag and drop thing, which means there's no coding. So this is what they're showing on the thing. These are all Weebly websites. But what I want to show you is when they really start showing how you do it. So this is where they're getting into the meat of it. And see these big buttons? I mean, these guys are literally dragging stuff around. They're just saying, here's my blank page. I'm going to have a big picture here. Let me go back a little bit. So drag and drop, I'm going to go to the actual dragging and dropping part. Okay, so here. So this is how, and what I'm going to show you is even if you look at this stuff and say, as easy as you think it is, Kathryn, it doesn't seem easy enough for me, at least you have these tools and you can have an intelligent conversation with a web developer and price this and say, let's not talk about thousands of dollars, let's talk about a couple hundred. And then you hit the publish button. So these are pretty, so anyway, I thought this did more about the drag and drop, but this really is a simple drag and drop website builder. And then for those of you who want something a little more complicated, this is my manifesto of the WordPress Masterclass. Let's see if this is it. Okay. Yes, this is very, very long. So
this is all on Vimeo already.
Yeah, the WordPress Masterclass. Here's part 2. Okay, here, WordPress Masterclass part 1. And again, I'm not going to torture you guys or waste your time, but this is at, if you see it on your screen, and Paul and I can send this over, but it's Vimeo.com. And then for some reason, it's 271-36901. I don't know why it's called that, but it's all on, if you go to Vimeo Chicago, see where it says Chicago Art Machine? So you say Vimeo/Chicago Art Machine, you'll get to that. But if you go to this page specifically, this is a screenshot of Chicago Art Magazine, and it moves around. It's a nice thing. And I start at the beginning, and I'll load a little bit, but It goes through step by step. This what you're seeing on this screenshot that I'm doing. So this is what I've brought up, is that this is a template. So if you look at Chicago Art Magazine back here, this is my magazine. Okay, now everybody keep that thought in your mind, let it burn in, and then look at this. See how this looks exactly the same? So that's what they call a template, a WordPress template. And you take these ideas about a site that costs thousands of dollars, and you use WordPress, which is technically a blog, and then you put these fancy templates on it, and template costs about $65, $75, and we're done. You can do customization on top of that, but it's a really, really simple way. So that's the first thing I think we can talk about, is what the obstacles are. But I recommend watching that video. You don't just sit there and watch the 2 parts and sit through all 2 hours. But again, when you sit down with a developer, sit down and say, what if I just want a WordPress template? That should only be a couple $100. And why, if I saw a video where it took the person 2 hours start to end, why are you saying this would cost $1,000? You know, because interestingly, with the guy who almost spent $5,000, so I said, tell the guy to do WordPress. And the developer came back and said, oh, that's a great idea. Let's do WordPress. It's still $5,000. And it's like, how much is this guy charging an hour? It's crazy. So even if you have someone else to your site, if you can talk about Weebly, if you can talk about WordPress, you can get that price way, way down. But these are things that if you're comfortable with the web, if you write emails, if you use YouTube and Flickr, then you can basically slog through these tools. The only thing I'd say in terms of choosing a tool is that if you really can't do anything and you want to have a website and you want to do it once and you want it to be done, having somebody, a friend of yours, build you a Weebly site is a very simple solution. WordPress is a better solution for people who want to be able to get in and change their own website. So like, Paul, to use your site as an example, we can type this in. Everybody's seen this site, but Paul knows that this little line here, this get your art to take care of you, is something that Paul can go in and change. He doesn't need me, or he doesn't need anybody. You know, this kind of copy, Paul can go in and change. This kind of copy, if somebody puts in a new testimonial, Paul can pop that in without talking to a developer. So these are the sort of things that sort of, you know, give you, it keeps your costs down, because I see people switching to other people's pixels, and other people's pixels is $15 a month. This, you know, what we do at Chicago Art Magazine, I'll just bring up my site, is the total, and this is a site that holds 2,000 images and 700 articles, and it costs $50 a month. I mean, $50 a year for the entire hosting, space, everything for it. So again, these are pretty slick. You know, they have sliders. You can pick all sorts of things. And I'll just show you one more thing about picking it. Elegant Themes. Elegant Themes is one of the biggest makers of templates, and they're very well respected. And so look at all these. Now what I do is I have a free yearly membership. So let's just, I'm not going to belabor this and do this the whole time, but I just want to show you the variety and how nice these themes are. Now don't be fooled by the images inside it, because the images inside it can sometimes make the site look a little better, because these guys are great at filling them with very, very cool things. But let me show you and just flip and explain again. These are WordPress, which just means you install this blog software, just like blogger.com, and then you get a site that looks like this. So this is the layout of this one. It's got, you can change the colors, you can change the texture, and then it has these squares here, and then there's an area here. This one's not so great. This one's very pretty. So this one has a nice big image at the top. It's got this sort of ripped little template thing that you can easily take out. It's got 4 clickable links there. And then I'll just show you a couple more. This theme preview is meant for mobile devices. That's awesome. And then you go with that. And then, but see, look at these nice sliders. Like, doesn't this look like a $5,000 site? Video slide with text. So this could be your blog, and this could be your website, and you didn't, and it looks like a $5,000 site. So that's why I'm going to start hassling members of Paul's class who don't have a website, because we're at the point where it's just easier than it was. So there we go. So now we've got the excuses portion of the night taken care of.
Okay.
So who's still stuck? Who's like,
You know, I'm not sure why I can't see who's raising their hand here, and I can't see who's. So can you guys figure out how? Huh?
Kathy Norris, David Spanbach.
You can see this, huh? I can't. Kathy, go ahead.
Hello?
Who's that? David. Let's do Kathy first.
Okay.
Kathryn,
That's what's going on. Go ahead, Kathy.
I have a website.
Louder, girl.
I have a website. Hold on. Let me. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
I have a website, and the girl who did it for me moved to Berlin, and I have no idea how to go in, to change things. And I'm also, and right now, like actually, my website, the paintings on there are old, and
This is Sarah who did your website?
yes.
Do you know how to get in touch with her?
Yeah, I do.
She'd turn over control. I mean, it's not like she disappeared. She'd give all the information to you or somebody else.
But that's a great, let's talk about that, because okay, so what Paul's saying is absolutely the first step. If you can get a hold of your administrator, you guys are just talking to a lawyer, so you guys are all lawyered up and ready to go. If somebody worked with you under even a verbal contract, there's sort of a code of honor among administrators that when somebody needs their passwords back, you give them back. Most administrators at some point sent you an email with your passwords, but all you do is you write to your administrator. This is if you can find them. If you can find your administrator, write to them and say, I need my passwords back now. I've got a new developer. I need the passwords now. That's all we need. We don't need to know every little tidbit about your site. We just need the passwords. Then we can do the rest. If you do not have, you say your web person dies, or they're really truly MIA. You can't do them in a Google search. You've looked on LinkedIn. You've looked on Facebook. You can't find them. Somewhere you're paying a bill, right? If you have a site that says Kathy Bruin Norris, you're paying for that, right? Like every year you get a bill?
Right.
Right. So then you call those guys and you say, hey, guess what? I don't have my password, but guess what I do have? I have a credit card. And so then you get on the phone and then you say, okay, GoDaddy, okay, whatever provider you have, and you say, my administrator is gone, but I'm the one paying for it. Here's my credit card. Here's my email. And then you'll go through a little bit of rigmarole, but they'll release all that information. And then you start new with someone else. But again, and then when you go forward, you go through a little smarter and you say, as soon as you hire them, okay, here's you set it up. As soon as you get the passwords before you get started, send it to me. And then you save it somewhere. Like one conversation I'm working with my mother is, Mom, where do you put the passwords? Is it in a notebook? Is it in a drawer? Because there's no system with passwords. So you have to have a system in your life with passwords.
So in other words, you could enter in my website if I gave you the password.
Right. I'd be your new administrator.
She might have even given me the link, and I might have that saved in my old emails because my daughter, who is a computer kind of expert, was sort of being trained at the time to be able to go in and manipulate my website. But I have one other question that I want to ask you, and that is, I've recently been working in a different medium than painting, and I'm just wondering, is it smart or not to have more than one website? Like, say I want to do another website.
That's a good question. I would usually say put it on one website. When I was giving a lecture at the Art Institute and the School of the Art Institute and came up with an example where you wouldn't. generally you put it all on one website, especially like I love the way you've got your name as your website. That's very important. That's a great thing. Your SEO is right where it should be. So no, that's you've got the tiger by the tail. You're also talking about two different types of art. The only time I'd start thinking about different sites is if you not only have two different things going on, like a business practice and a visual art practice, and they're in conflict with each other. So this artist who had them combined in one site was this relational aesthetics, this really high art artist. You know, she's setting up these dinner parties and stuff like that. And then she does event planning. And it's like, if you're trying to be like a museum grade avant-garde artist, and then you sort of show that you do these dog and pony art shows at parties, that's not good. You're wrecking your brand. You're trying to have this very avant-garde brand, but then here you are with this very commercial pay-to-play type of practice that you have. So if your two businesses are in conflict with each other and you want to keep them separate, absolutely. Like I have two business cards. I have different sites depending on whether I'm talking about film, technology, or visual art. I have 3 magazines. But generally, if you're doing different kinds of things, now one thing though we'll go through some of these sites because the question then is, when you're doing a few things, how do you say it and how does that affect your layout? And one of the things that I wish I could have done a capture of is I was going through your names and I do this thing where I just say, you know, I right click and I say open in a new tab. Hold on, that wasn't what I wanted. Hold on. But anyway, and I was just clicking through, and it is amazing how little time, because I am still an art critic at the end of the day, how little time I give each website. So you really have what I call the 15-second rule, which is that I'm going to look at your site in about 15 seconds and I'm going to make a judgment. So let's go to community. So what I like to see with a lot of sites is that if you have a body of things you do, just think about if we were at a cocktail party, how you would start it. And you'd say, well, I make 2 different kinds of art. You know, I have a photography series and I have a painting series. Well, then you basically say that in your website. You know, here are my 2 things. Maybe you pick out a template where you have 2 boxes, you know, and there's, because one thing I was seeing when I was looking at your sites and flipping through the classes sites is there's a lot of one image and no information on the home page. And those types of websites are sort of dying out because it just becomes like a click fiesta. You know, I got to click like crazy to get to the meat of it. It's that the home page has become busier in the last few years. So our aesthetic for how busy a home page can be, I mean, look at Facebook. Facebook is crazy. So home pages can be busier than they are. So if you have just one image on your home page and no text, if you're thinking about a redesign, which we'll talk about when to think about a redesign and when to not, but I would say you can go a little more full than that. So for your case, yeah, I would say, you know, yeah, like right here, so you've got nothing. And you've got, I mean, yeah, now one thing that I'm not as hard on websites as you would think. You know, I like to see more emphasis on the art headings than stuff like this. But basically, like you said, you know, the art is old and you want to update it. A lot of web designers would say, you know, oh, this site, this and that. For me, this is a perfectly acceptable site, and I'll tell you the things I like about it. I go right to paintings. So number one, I see that, let's say I'm starting from scratch. I see your name. I see that I can contact you, and you've got contact information on the site. And right here, you've got this. This could be one. You know, it's the About You page. And then I see painting, sculpture. I don't need studio, personally. But some people love studio, so there you go. So I see paintings and I see sculpture. And then I'll show you what I love is that these could be bigger, but I love little thumbnails. I like, you know, when I do a slideshow and I never know where it's going to end, you know, or how many paintings there are, or how the images are being brought up to the main screen. I can see at a glance, this is how many there are. I can get a rough view of the body of work, and it's clear. It's very, very clear. So this is a very simple site that, in my opinion, gets the job done. Now, when you have new bodies of work, then on your paintings page, I still encourage you to have a lot of thumbnails going on, but you can sort of cut up your work into bodies. You know, you'd say abstract, and you'd, you know. Also, one thing I was going to say is I look at a lot of the art things is figure out what your strongest pieces are. Sometimes people that I was looking at their sites this afternoon, they had so much stuff on the sites. I'm like, well, what's good? You know, you've got an art critic looking at your site. How are you going to push your best pieces first? You know, like they say in those dance shows, do your best trick in the first 5 seconds. You know, have your strongest work on that home page, and then if they drill down and look for more work and they're looking to buy, then they're drilling down and they're getting to it. But have your best work at the front and center. But I would say not bad. You know, you need to get the keys back on this site and update your work. But you know, and you can always, and like I said, for you, what I would recommend, if in the tutorial that I have on that Vimeo thing, you guys can see my desktop now, right?
Yep.
So I'd say WordPress themes for artists. This is, and I say in the video that how you just look things up on Google. So we're going to say WordPress themes for artists. And actually, no, let me go back. So 24 free portfolio and photo gallery WordPress themes. Now, I never get a free theme because I find that you sort of get what you pay for. But like, and what you need is a little bit of tech support and a company that you can trust. But so these are all, like, look at this. So this is something, again, with the whole WordPress theme. And if you've got a daughter who's trained in this stuff, like, that's nice and clean. You know, and now with what I was teaching Paul is in that 2-hour thing, things like buying the work off your site and what we call e-commerce plugins, you plug it in and you're done. And suddenly there's a buy button if people want to buy something. Like somebody in this class has it where there's a $sign, and I thought that $sign was going to tell me the price, and it brought me to a PayPal page. And I'm like clicking that, I'm hitting the X trying to get off this page. Like, I would let people know, like, you got to have something that people are saying, okay, yes, I want this because I want to buy it, not necessarily like, oh, what's the price? Okay, now I want to buy it. But just to scroll down, so see all the various, see, then there's the real crowded look that's kind of getting popular. This is a nice portfolio site. That's clean, it looks modern. So like I said, that's why WordPress, if you want to get a little bit more serious. But like I said, these Weebly sites can be very simple and have, let's see, let me go back. I wish they just had templates. But again, you could do very simple things and you could have 6 on the page. You know, the first thing I always tell people when you're designing a website, sit down with a pencil and paper and think about it as like a magazine layout. Okay, somebody else want to do their site?
Somebody chime in.
You guys are, that lawyer knocked you out. You've been knocked out with legal. Now you're terrified. You're like, I'm going to get sued. I'm just going to interrupt and just talk for a second. Every time artists go into classes, everybody's like, oh my God, copyright. What if I get sued? You're not going to get sued. I don't know what to tell you, man. Everybody asks about the copyright and getting sued. Nobody gets sued. You know, it's like, make the art you want, don't worry about it. If you get a big audience and you're getting a lot of press coverage, then start sweating, but don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. You know, just be happy if people look at your work. You know, there's my legal advice. Don't worry about it. Just do what you want. If you're big enough where you're getting sued, you're big enough to get a lawyer, you know.
David, did you want to ask a question?
I was going to say that the contracts need pictures in them.
What? Oh, do you have to worry about your name in the pictures?
No, I said that contracts should have pictures in them so they're more engaging. It's not just words for us artists.
Oh, I know. But I dig through it. I do take the time now when I get a contract and I sit there and I slug it out and I just read sentence by sentence and ask questions, you know. Come on, talk about your website.
Okay,
Yeah,
I want to take control of my website back from the person who did it, and I want to set up one of these simple, easy ones. Can I set it up and then just switch it out, or do I have to go in and redo what they've done? Can I just
you can always switch it out.
and then just get my...
You always just switch it out and start over. What people are doing now it's not just that websites are easy, it's everything with web development is getting easy. So people are doing projects and the projects aren't going well and they're just scrapping it and starting over. Like nobody's fixing anymore, they're just scrapping and starting over. So David, let's take a look. Okay. All right, so this is the minimal homepage. Okay, we're starting our click fast here. Okay, so let's, all right. So
it's cumbersome, and there's things I want to, simplify that I know I want to do.
Yeah, I mean,
she's just charging me way too much to do it, and it makes no sense for me to have her do it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, so I would say...
It's a problem because it's a friend, and I have to fire them. That's the only thing that's been a drag.
Just tell them you took a class and you're all excited, and you know what too, it's not bad having a tech friend, and your friend the first couple of months is going to make just as much money by helping you and then weaning you off, so you'll be fine. Also, these developers have to kind of come up with a new business model too, so it's systemic. But again, so to take this site, DS Fright site, oh yeah, no. Okay, you gotta get rid of this person because what you can do.
I know. I don't even want to go through it because
no, it's fine. All you would do though, that like especially using Weebly and a drag and drop system, you could really make a clone of this site just starting from scratch. So you've got some very simple. I'm gonna use my cursor. Some very simple menu buttons. So you just have your menu buttons along the left. You could have just one image like you do, or you could have one image and then small thumbnails here to the right.
I want to switch them out regularly and play with it, and it's just too cumbersome now.
Yeah.
So I mean, if I can use one of those sites and set it up myself and then just switch it out, that's great. That's what I need.
Yeah, and the time is. I know we started a little late, and I don't know if we're going to go a little late. But what time do you want to end, Paul?
I don't know. We got another 15, 20 minutes.
Okay. One thing, but I'll tell you something that I want to switch gears to a little bit. And I want to say one thing about one site, and then I want to talk about branding as it relates to sites, because those of us who talk about websites for artists, the conversation has changed in the last couple of years, and I want to kind of go in that direction too and tell you what we're talking about. So I want to go, okay, is Jess Baylor online? Do we have a Jess Baylor in the house?
No, she's from the first course.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, a year ago.
So where?
I wonder how that got up there.
Yeah. You must have a lousy web administrator. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, me.
No, I was going to say me. Let's look. I just want to go real quick and just open a couple, because there were some nice ones, and there were some ones just with some quick feedback. This is a ClickFest. This is a flash site with a million things going on. Like you do this and look, a new window opened, and now, like at one point I lost it, and it's just, this is a flash site. Now it's moving. These flash sites are dead. If your site was written in Flash, you should redo it. This site, I thought, I always say if you're going to have a huge site on your home page, pick a nice, powerful site, and look at how nice and even. I mean, this is a bad font. That's not a great font, but otherwise, look at the nice match between the image, the tone, the gray, the simplicity. This was a very nice, clean site. Enter by clicking the image below. You don't have to say that much anymore. People feel like they can click on an image. And then I thought this was just nice and clean. Again, the fonts could be stronger. then it also there's just little stuff like that, the broken links and stuff like that. That's nice to be able to fix yourself. This one again.
What font should I use?
Just something a little prettier. Just get away from Times New Roman and Arial. Like Georgia, you can't go wrong with Georgia. Also, go a little bigger. Go with bigger. Go with bold. Just make it a little more, not the default font. And also make sure you use the same font consistently.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
But no, I thought it was good. Trust me, I ripped sites apart for breakfast. Again, another nice site where the main image is strong. You know, so again, the copy, people don't have a good attention span. This gets a little long. You want to knock them with a couple thoughts. And especially, and I'm trying to find one in particular. This one is Daniel Henderson in the house.
No, he's not here tonight.
Okay, Daniel Henderson. Now he misses an opportunity, so make him watch this webinar, Paul. So this guy, watch this. This is what I always tell people: is step back and think about what your website's trying to do, and think about what you offer as an artist. And also remember that people might stumble onto your site knowing nothing about you, maybe not even knowing that you're an artist. So this guy, because he's taking this class, I figured he was an artist, but I would have thought he was a product photographer or an industrial designer. And so I'm clicking around a little bit, and so I get this about. And then he's got buried here, Daniel A. Henderson is a sculptor and inventor. He's been granted 26 U.S. patents, and his prototype wireless picture phone was received. I mean, don't bury that. That's a very interesting piece of information. For an artist like that, he should be mixing together copy and images and telling a story. So if you have this really elaborate thing to talk about, don't bury it. So don't bury good information is another thing that I saw the artist doing. Okay, so Janine, okay, there was one or two more I wanted to do. So I got to reduce this a little bit. Sorry, I keep getting this little drop down. Okay, was it? This, Les Mayers? Les Mayers?
Les is here.
Yeah, yeah, Les, I would, I'd update. This looks like a little bit of an old-fashioned site. And you don't put any art on the front page. What do you think of that? Do you hate me, Les? Did I make you mad? Hello?
I don't know if I can unmute him. I can't from here. Why not? Les, can you unmute yourself? Apparently not.
Okay, Les, you're going to just sit there and take it like a man and not be able to respond. So I'm going to say nice things about you. What I love, when I was talking about if you do different things, show the different things you do. So this is a great example, although the site needs some updating. Again, the fonts, nothing special. I don't generally like black backgrounds. A lot of other people don't. But look at the way, like, architectural studies, landscapes, seascapes, portrait gallery, real-life studies, boats and ships, like, that's kind of cool. You know, when I'm going through it, like, when the categories are broader, like photography, paintings, sculpture, you know, if somebody's like, for me, my site's very difficult because I do a lot of different mediums, and my problem in life before the magazine is I was bouncing around from thing to thing. And so for me, I have to say film, writing, publishing, visual art, you know, and I really have to break it up and make this statement of right or wrong, I do a lot of different things, and I'm not focused on one thing. And so having this sort of format where you split it up is good. I'm just going to do the quick, okay. can't find it. The site I wanted to talk about, there was one site that had a lot of headings at the top. And, you know, you can do a few. There's just a point where it gets to be too many. So, but, okay, so what I wanted to just say and make sure that we hit on is that, let me show you guys. Okay, this is my Facebook profile. And when I said that we've had a new dialogue in the last 3 years, and the biggest thing that I'm telling everybody, and I was on a previous one of Paul's seminars, and the biggest thing people came back to me and talked about after they did it is I was talking about how you don't keep your stuff on one site anymore. And this, all this talk about copyright and stuff like that sort of worries me, because you really have to take your images, not watermark them, just make them 72 dpi and about 500 pixels across, and put them everywhere that you can put them. So I'm a big fan of art slants. I think everybody should open an art slant, because I'll tell you what. There's the whole idea of being found as an artist and being discovered. People just do not surf the web the way they used to. They don't look at blog rolls anymore. They look at Facebook, they look at Twitter, and they look at what we call these gated communities. So ArtSlant's a great example of gated community. And so when you upload an ArtSlant, everything you know about being found on the web is going to be done for you, because you're simply on a site like this that's so well designed. They've got great people making sure that that you're found. And so and they have tons of artists, like Vince's galleries, and then there's a section for individual artists. You can sign up, you can give an account. I absolutely recommend that.
But you shouldn't have this in lieu of a website.
No, you should have it in lieu of a website, but I'm just saying, don't expect your website to do the heavy lifting. The one thing I always say as a test to your website is do this. When I go to this on, let's pick, okay, Elsa is up. So let's take a look. So one thing, gallery. So this is my test, and everybody should do this test. So this is a flash site, and I can't click on any of these images. And that's not good, and I'm going to show you why. What if I want to share one image on Facebook? Okay, Kathy, we're going to go back to you. Let's see if yours works.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
See each image, see up here where I've got my cursor where it says the URL and her name? It's not changing. So I want somebody whose website changes when I click on an image. Sculpture, let's try it. So, okay, here we go. Here's a start. Sculpture. Okay, so I'd like to see each one of these images. Wait, that changed a little bit. Let's go back. Okay, so let's give it a shot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to copy it, I'm going to go on Facebook, and here's my status, and watch this. So I put it in, and now Facebook's working. Okay, the images are starting to show up. Hold on 1 second. Hey, I'm not done. I have like a small child trying to get in. Hold on. But see how it populated the image? Do you guys see that? Hold on 1 second. Hey, honey, I'm not done. Honey, can you get Lana? Sorry, everybody thought it was off at a certain time. Anyway, so that's what you want. You want to be putting a link in there, and you want images to appear. And you want to be taking each piece of work you do, and you want to be sharing it. Oh, this one might work. Okay, so look how it's changed. Oh, see, I like it. Okay, now watch this. Janine, you're going to be our shining example. I don't know why your URL starts with a number. That's slightly worrisome, but let's give it a shot. Okay, let's try this one. But everybody should have a type of website. Oh, look at that. Look at that. See how nice that looks? Okay, we're going to see. Look at this. Hey, you want to show your work to 5,000 people? Here we go. Watch this. Artist of the night. And we're going to say post. Paul, do you read my Facebook page every day?
Oh, yeah, all the time. It's the only thing I look at.
4,518 people just saw that. I can't. So anyway, so the thing that happened with Paul's last thing that was my big push and people were talking about, and this gets into a little bit into pushing your stuff out there, but websites are promotional tools. So it's hard to talk about websites without talking about promoting web. Oh, look, somebody likes it. Look, we already got a like. Was that somebody you know? No. See, we expanded our audience. Look at that. You got a fan. Okay, so this is, Facebook's a very powerful tool, and the visual art community.
Nobody should send you messages on Facebook. That's pretty clear.
So anyway, what I was telling people is, have your website be something that you take your art, you put it on your website, and you share it on the social networks. And if you don't have a community on Facebook that you feel like you can do that kind of stuff because it's just your kids, or it's just your family, or it's just your cousins, or you've got all this personal stuff on it, make a second Facebook profile. Make a second Facebook profile just for promoting your art. And if you listen to Paul's other webinar, because they have access to all of them, right?
Yes.
You want a whole webinar about branding, social media, and where to put your art. That's where I always say, it's not about how does your site look, it's about how does your site work. Does your website work as a promotional tool? And that's why you start saying that a website can be very simple. People want to see your work. You know, like this site's very, very nice. I can see the work. I think the work looks fantastic. And it's done 90% of the work of it. Does the contact button actually get to you? It looks like it. Now, one thing I'd say, too, when you have your email like this, try not to put that little A symbol.
Yeah, write the word out and then have a link be hot so that the search bots don't spam you to death.
The search bots and the spam. And also what I'll do is I'll say Kathryn at Chicago Art Magazine. Something like that. And people all know what that means.
You just make the link be hot.
Yeah, I think the web, can't the spiders, well, you put it on. You must be fine. Do you get lots of spam? Okay,
nope.
Then you're fine. So let me open this up to questions. How do you guys feel about all this? Does anybody feel like I gave them a bad pass and you want to reply back and kind of defend yourself? Because I never want people to feel
Kathryn, maybe it's best if we stop. Oh, I know what I did. I made you the presenter. I mean, the host instead of me. That's what happened. So I can't. Oh, so I think you have to give me back control. Let's see. What happens?
Maybe I won't. I won't.
No, maybe you don't have any choice. All right.
No, I'm trying to figure out how to do it. I'm on full screen. Then I'm looking at you. Who do you want this participant to see? The active speaker, a particular. I cancel. Okay, then there's me. Okay, I'm trying to get back to the main WebEx screen. Should I go to web? It's like the main WebEx.
Right-click on my name, Kathryn.
Oh, okay.
And then say change role to and make me the host.
I'm totally not getting a right-click. Oh, wait. No, it says, who do you want the participant to see? Hold on. I got nothing. Let me try a different view. Okay, now let me try it. No. Let me try another view. Okay, now let me try this view. I got nothing when I'm right-clicking.
Okay, well, I'm just a minion now. That's okay.
Yeah, how bizarre. At least we got through most of it. If you want to see something.
Can you see who's raising their hands?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yes, I'll be the hand picker. Okay. I can do a roll call if people are not raising their hand. I'm on Percy, Suzanne, Kim.
They all have their hands raised?
I don't have Kim. I don't have visual on Kim, Les, or Monica right now. Okay, Suzanne.
I have a question.
Yeah? Oh, okay. Hi, Elaine. Go ahead.
Hi, thank you. I just wanted to say that I appreciate your energy and enthusiasm as well. Let's see, I wrote down, well, my first question was, how to build an efficient website, but I think you went through that very well, and you put some positive and negative points, so I appreciate that. I think my other question would be any suggestions you could give on how we could make money from our site, through best way to make efficient sales, like you mentioned earlier about the money symbol, and then maybe ads on websites or any way to create an income from our website.
Absolutely. I always like talking about stuff like that. The good news is it goes back to some of the main points. Like one thing that, well, the first thing to talk about, there's two elements of that. There's actual ease of doing a sale through your website, and then there's about being discovered. So the first thing I'd recommend is you really want to be able to look at your traffic, see how much you're getting, see how much attention you're drawing. So I'll reference the previous webinar. You should absolutely do that and follow all that and see how many hits you're getting. You'd like to be getting, if you're getting, it is crazy. With the web now and the way analytics measure things, you can really look around and see that you're getting about 15 hits a day. And that's not going to build much of a channel. So if you're looking at your numbers and you can see in what you call analytics that you're only getting a few hits a day, you got to do more to put the word out. Once you do it, one thing I was showing in the 2-hour lecture is what we call e-commerce WordPress plugins. And so then, now this goes back to a WordPress site. So if you want a very, very simple site, then Weebly's going to work. For anything else, WordPress is going to do it almost no matter how complicated you get. WordPress is fantastic. So WordPress e-commerce plugins, and these are things you just hit a couple buttons and you install. But this, sorry, this is not, Shopify Simple E-commerce. Daily deal plugin, add daily deals to WordPress, WordPress e-commerce. Sorry, this went better last time I did it. Oh, you know what I did? Here's the search, and I showed target best e-commerce WordPress plugins 2011. 8 superior WordPress plugins for e-commerce. So then you've got your little WordPress site, or you've got your administrator who's only charging you. Oh, and Paul and I can vouch that we have a guy. Paul, do we have a guy?
Yeah, did you get in touch with him, or should I do it?
No, I need to. I've got you on my list. I'm so sorry. But Austin is our secret weapon, and he's fantastic. So we have a guy who helps, and he's very, very reasonable. But so these are WordPress. So this one's not good. Let's go this one. So I don't even want to try to pronounce that. Jigo Shop, a WordPress e-commerce plugin. And see, now all this stuff, all this nonsense about like, oh, is it a mobile site? Does it work on my phone? With WordPress, it works on your phone. You don't have to build an app. You don't have to build a WordPress site. This is kind of a gaudy one. But these are things that, like this one's perfect. Look how pretty that is. eShop. And with just a click, it's got it all formatted. And see how nice that looks? Do you guys see that? So you've got a slideshow here, you've got a featured product here, and as fancy as this looks, these are really, really simple. So the actual e-commerce stuff technically is very, very easy. The other thing people do is they do, like I said, going back to other sites. So ArtSlant has a pretty elaborate system for selling art and helping you sell your art and market your art. Etsy is not quite what you think. It does have a lot of handmade goods, but what people say is if you can get on the homepage of Etsy, you'll you'll make 50 sales that day, no matter how expensive your thing is. This is the homepage of Etsy. Etsy does $13 million of commerce through the web. $13 million of commerce of handcrafted goods over the web every month. 13 million. That's a lot of money. So putting things on other sites is incredibly important as an artist to put your stuff out there. So you just Google it and you say, you know, you type in, you know, if you're making blue paintings, type in, you know, where to buy blue paintings of a boat, and then see the sites that come up. See the sites that really come up in your search results, and it's probably a pretty good site. And if it's free and you can put your stuff up there for free, put it up there. Because more people are going to go to that site, especially if you don't have a direct method of getting that audience to buy your work, and you need people to see your work, then I recommend other sites as well and not just your own. Okay, I'm going to go back to my view. Paul, I'm so sorry. This takes the cake with me hijacking a conversation.
Yeah, really you hijack my conversation, you hijack my website, you hijack control. Shut me down.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I gave you control, and I'm the one, and I can't take it back.
That's how I do it. That's how a good social hacker does things. They just, you think, you know, you're voluntarily giving it over, and then you find yourself living in a cardboard box. All right, Amy, Chris Hill. Chris Hill, your site looked nice. And look, you're unmuted. Look at you. You can talk now. You have a voice.
Thank you. Are you using any widgets to replace Flash for video or something, or is everybody giving up on Flash?
It really almost died. I said that Flash was like a guy on the railroad tracks who's like, someone's going to save me, someone's going to save me, and nobody saved it. And but then, just when everybody started doing eulogies for Flash, suddenly, like, everything started working. So I have a Flash, and the way I can test this is that I got to find my own site. I got to find Chicago Art Magazine. It's interesting. So Chicago Art, but I'm not a big fan of Flash. So overall, do I think you should have a Flash site? No. And the biggest reason is because Google will not pick up on it. It's very primitive still. The only piece of Flash I have on my site, oh, and I actually took it down, but I used to have a Flash ad right here. And I could look at it on a mobile phone, and it was still showing up. So my phone got better. But no, video, you know, the one thing I love, people love videos of people actually making art. Stop motion animation is incredibly easy now. You can make a video of yourself making your art, and you can put a stop motion filter on it. It looks like a stop motion thing of you making your art. So no, I love all that. Like I did, this site was a video template. This was Press 75. So again, I'm doing best WordPress templates for video. So this was a custom widget somebody made. And then these can all host videos. What you're saying, like widgets, like this is a cool little plugin I just found, and I just popped it in. You know, it took 5 seconds. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that worked. One thing I want to show you guys about the back end. So what happens, and this one thing I want to say, because I know we're going to wrap it up, but I want to say, oh, look at me, I'm trying to use your site. Okay. Okay. This is the back end. This is, so Chicago Art Magazine, like I said, it's just a WordPress site. It's a blog wearing a dress. But I want to show you a typical post. So let's go to something good. Okay, this one's great. So I'm doing this, I have a book that came out, and so the post looks like, I'll show you what the post looks like in real life. So this is what the audience sees. So this is the book, that's the New Art Examiner, and it looks like this. But behind the scenes, what we do is there's a thing called tagging. And again, this is where no matter how good your website was and how much money you spent 5 years ago, it's not good anymore. And partially it's because there's all these cool tools now. Like on WordPress, there's a little section here called All-in-One SEO Pack. And I don't use this a lot because I name things differently, but this is a way you just type in ideas and it helps you get found on Google. Then, here's what we do well though. So our article has all these different ideas in it. You know, the people coming to the panel, Abraham Ritchie, Ann Weens. I'm losing power fast. Abraham Ritchie, Ann Weens, all those names. See how all those names are in the tags? So these are all things that when I start looking for things on the web, I'm constantly finding Chicago Art Magazine, and that's why, because of those tags. And when you have an older site, you really lose all that. So WordPress, I wish I had my 400-page book on SEO. Oh my God, I do. Look at this, you guys. Here's my 400-page book on SEO. This book was great at the time. It was called The Art of SEO, and look at how fast.
SEO is search engine optimization.
Search engine optimization. How well does Google find you? And then you start reading this book. So you're like reading it, you're going blind. You get to about page 200, and it's like teaching you how to build this great site that Google will find you. And then it's like, or just put it on a thing like WordPress. And you're like, okay, fine, whatever. Like, why not just do WordPress at the beginning? So you can build this whole elaborate thing and do this crazy dance trying to make a site that's found on Google, found by Google, or you can just do best practices for WordPress. And so what we do, writers come in and they're like, I want to use all these pithy, punny little titles. And we're like, oh, I'm sorry, we've got to call it, Art Criticism Panel at SAIC on 1112. We give articles very, very boring names, but really boring names help things get found. Oh, and then the other thing, and I know we're going to wrap it up because it's really getting late and everybody's going to be exhausted. I want to show you. So here's Tricia Van Eck. Here's the post. Tricia Van Eck has been a guest on the show. So here's all our links. Links are your lifeblood. Then I want to show you how we do pictures. So when we do a picture, and try to do this and keep this simple, but when you do a picture, we've got it captioned with her name. And then look at the name we gave this image. Now, if you don't understand this, just hang on. We called this image Tricia Van Eck.jpg. And I'll show you why. So let's do, let's see, who's my, Elsa Munoz. Elsa, you're up. You're my next victim on The Price is Right. Okay. All right, we're going to see what happens when we do Elsa. Look at that. Look at that. Is that gorgeous? Is this what you want to have happen? Home gallery bio, this is you, right? So this is the power of a website being named after someone. Now here's the trick. Now let's see what happens when we press images. It's there. And look at the name. Look what she named that picture. Elsa plus Munoz JPEG. Put your name as the file name of every single image on your website if you want to show up when people do Google Images. I talked fast. I did a lot, Paul.
I hope the recording worked because I turned it over all that stuff to you, but I'm out of control here. Okay.
What do you guys think? Any last questions?
I have a question. I have a really long, complicated last name, and you put this up. I'm wondering if I should put my last name on the Google search just because it's so complicated. I just have Lane W as my.
No, don't do that. First of all, you got a great first name. It's unusual. Wiseman. That's not that long. You know what I mean? I've seen longer names than that. Some people have like 4-word names. No, you're fine. And what I say to people, like, I'm working with a product, and I said, what is the name of this product? And it's SONR. And I said, well, let's not call it Sonar Digital. Let's come up with one name, and we use it on everything. Unless you want to change your name, stick with your name, put it on everything, and that's what you have. That name is fine. That's, I always said if my name was Lipschitz, I'd change it. You know what I mean? You don't have a bad last name, so your name is fine. Just, say it loud, say it proud, put it on everything, put it on your website, because if people know you, they're going to look up your name, and they're going to expect to find you. So your name is your brand when you're an artist.
My thought was that I could just stick with Lane and have it be more Madonna-esque, like you wouldn't have to know my last name.
Yeah, you know, people write to me at the magazine and they want me to not like capitalize their name or their show or something like that. Like when you get press, they're gonna want your name and they're just gonna stick it in anywhere. They're gonna say we gotta use the last name, and that's gonna be the end of your shtick.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, let me do. Oh, Amy Lowry. Okay, hold on. I'm unmuting you.
Thank you.
Okay,
you
go ahead.
put your name on the images so that they show up, you mean before you actually place them on the website?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
In Windows. Yeah, name the file, first name, dash, last name, JPEG.
Or
and
a
then,
number in there.
Or
A
better,
number
if
after
it's
your
a
last
flower.
name.
Right, but better if it's a flower, say Amy-Lowry-flower.
Before you upload them to the website.
Right, exactly. While it's still on your computer, like I can just show you real quick. So pictures. So at this phase, you know, here's Tom Tromolke, one of my favorite artists. So see how it's named his name here. So I would just add a dash, and then when I upload it to the site, it'd be right. Okay, let me do a quick flip and grab any last questions. Paul, I never stopped recording, so I think we're good.
I hope so.
Okay, I think, okay, everybody's nice and still. I think we got it. I think you guys are all knocked out. You guys have been phenomenal. You guys stayed focused and unglazed through a lawyer and then me.
Quick
and
question.
Yeah.
The WordPress sites or the Weebly sites, can you, like I've already got what's left of my site hosted somewhere else. Do I need to get hosting with WordPress or Weebly?
No, that's what's nice about Weebly. You can keep your domain name and you can just use Weebly as your site builder.
Same with WordPress as well?
Yes, you can keep your domain and
Kathryn, explain that. Yeah, you can, Mark. Kathryn, explain that they're two different WordPress sites.
Oh yeah, it's a nightmare. Okay, I'll say this because I feel bad. You guys have been online for a long time, but there's WordPress.com and WordPress.org. And like I said, the problem with these hosted sites, like if we go to WordPress.com, you get this free website, and then it says something like, I can't find it, but it'll have like your name and then WordPress.com. You know, and like I said, then if you want to change, you've lost your URL. And Google loves sites that have been around a while. They don't like new sites. So I don't really like to see things that say like johndoeblogspot.com. I never like to see that because someday he's going to leave that and all the traffic and all the credibility he had through Google gets wiped out. And that's a little lofty idea, and so if I lost you, I apologize, but the bottom line is you want to basically have one domain and stick with it for many years. So WordPress.org is what you do, and that's the real deal. Like I said, if you don't understand what I'm saying, get somebody to help you, but this is where you get what they call a URL, which is what your site's going to be, your something.com, and then you put WordPress on top of it. So the first thing you do is you'd figure out, like I was saying to Kathy, who do you pay the bill to? And so if you watch that video that I did, I do GoDaddy.com, and I start there, and I just start with step 1, and it's done. Like I said, with the domain, with the hosting, it's about $50 a year total, and then they have specials where it's like $12 a year. Total, and you never pay anything monthly.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
How about Google Plus?
I use it all. Yeah, that's my social media lecture, but I use every stupid one of these things, you know. So yeah, here I am. Hold on, I'm gonna move you over. And then there I am. Oh, look, there I am. What am I doing? I'm promoting something. Who'd have thought? So look at all the support I got. Here's my book again. Everybody's going to get so sick of my book. But of course, use it all. Even if it's dying, you could always unuse it. But Facebook's the best. For visual artists, there's a massive visual art community on Facebook. Okay, I'm doing a quick search. Okay, I'm so tired. I got all these tired thumbnails.
I'm tired. I started off in Ohio this morning.
Yeah, and we were recording because now I see a thing that says stop my video.
All right, so we all done?
I think we're done. I think we got it.
All right. Hey, everybody, thank you, and I hope I get to host again, and that Kathryn doesn't freeze me out permanently. Hey, the Chicago contingent, we're going to Design's studio on Wednesday at 2 p.m. I will send you information tomorrow.
He's awesome. Okay.
All right, Kathryn, why don't you stop the recording, and everybody, thank you. And if you unmute everybody, Kathryn, they'll all applaud for you.
Okay, wait, hold on. I'll unmute everybody. So at least because I'm gonna say it says stop my video.
Yeah.
That's very sweet, hon. I'm gonna silence everyone. I feel like a king. I'm silencing everybody.
Yeah, I know.
It's like East Berlin, like the wall coming down, hon.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for being here tonight.
Thank you. No, it was fun. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening to me. All right, Paul, I'm hitting the stop my video button.
Okay.
Okay, good night.
Good night.